What's up guys, my name is Sam, and today I want to show you the most popular places to travel in Germany.
Before I begin my speech, let's head to the cozy corners of Bavaria, where history is intertwined with cultural heritage and architectural masterpieces delight with their grandeur and beauty. When we talk about Bavaria, many people may immediately associate it with beer festivals or the Alps, but I want to share with you another side of this beautiful region, its unique historical sites. Let's start our journey with the city of Nuremberg, which has recovered from the devastating bombings and where the historic part of the city, divided by the Pegnitz River, surprises with its grandeur and beauty. Here, on the historical mile, every object is marked with a special sign, and the route laid out 17 years ago allows you to immerse yourself in the atmosphere of the Middle Ages. One of the most important sites of Nuremberg is the Church of St. Serb, the oldest of the city's large churches, whose construction dates back to the 13th century. After visiting the museum located in the sea fortress, you can enjoy a magnificent view of the old town. Continuing our journey through the streets of Nuremberg, we come to Midgard Square, where the gingerbread house where the artist Albrecht Dürer lived and worked is located. This corner of the city is filled with coziness and history, and the sculpture erected in tribute to Dürer is a reminder of his contribution to art. The Frauenkirche, once the official court chapel, is another amazing place where you can see Dürer's engravings and feel the spirit of the Middle Ages. And the Hospital of the Holy Spirit, one of the oldest hospitals in Europe that has survived many historical events, now welcomes visitors and gives an experience of the architectural grandeur of the past. Nuremberg is not only a historical treasure, but also a place where works of art and cultural heritage are concentrated. Every corner of this city is a reminder of its greatness and contribution to history. The next stop is Regensburg, one of the oldest cities in Germany, which was founded back in the 13th century. Its old town delights with its unique architecture, and in 2006 it was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. Here you will find medieval-looking streets, Peter's Cathedral, a magnificent example of Gothic architecture, and many other sites, each with its own unique character and history. Regensburg is a city where time has stood still for you to enjoy its beauty and atmosphere. The town hall, which began construction in the mid-14th century and was completed almost 3 centuries later, now attracts tourists with its museum displays and architectural splendor. Traveling through Bavaria is a fascinating immersion into the history and culture of this beautiful region. Here every stone, every corner reminds you of the great times of the past and invites you to explore its rich heritage with admiration. Bavaria is not just a territory on a map, it is living history, where the great events of the past come to life every day. I invite you to embark on this fascinating journey through time and space, where every step reminds you of the great heritage and beauty of this fascinating region. Today I invite you to embark on a fascinating journey through centuries and history, starting in the wonderful city of Regensburg. Here, in this beautiful place, we find a bridge that bears witness to centuries of history, a stone bridge connecting the banks of the Danube. Built back in the 12th century by Louis V, it has remained the only bridge across the river in Regensburg for 8 centuries. This historical marvel has become an inextricable part of the city, the only bridge still standing today. After such a busy day, full of history and beauty, a thorough refreshment is a must. Regensburg is famous for its delicious food and amazing views. Colorful houses, narrow cobbled streets, medieval monuments, and the picturesque River Lea all create an amazing atmosphere. The enjoyment of these beauties becomes especially vivid starting from the bridge, which is the starting point for many exciting trips in Bavaria. Now the castles that seem to float above the mountains await us. Neuschwanstein Castle, attractive at first sight, has become an integral part of Bavaria's history. Here, where the ruins of a medieval castle used to stand, King Ludwig I realized his dreams. This place became not only his personal creation, but also the main attraction of the region. But the history of Hohenschwangau Castle, built by King Maximilian I, is also impressive. It is the place where Ludwig I spent a lot of time meeting composer Richard Wagner and playing the piano. The castle, which safely survived 2 world wars, still attracts millions of tourists, taking Bavaria's cultural heritage to a new level. Traveling through these castles is an opportunity to experience history, to see the grandeur and craftsmanship of times past. Let's discover together this amazing part of the world that continues to inspire and amaze with its beauty. Linderhof Castle is considered the pearl of Bavaria. The architecture of the castle is in the Baroque style, and the interior surprises with luxury and wealth. King Ludwig I was proud of this castle, which was completely built in his lifetime. It took 17 years to build and was completed in 1886. Linderhof Castle was inspired by the Palace of Versailles, aiming to be a true French palace. The castle can only be visited with a guided tour, which can be booked online or on site. You can walk around on your own in the parkland, but photography is not allowed in the castle itself. You can buy a collection of keepsake postcards in the gift store. The interior of the castle is amazingly chic. There are paintings, fine tapestries, carved furniture and many secluded corners where the king liked to spend time alone, dreaming. Linderhof Castle attracts as many tourists as the famous Neuschwanstein and Hohenschwangau. The village of Ober-Rommegau is another great local attraction. Here, each building is decorated with unique plaster paintings depicting different themes, fairy tale characters, biblical stories, portraits of saints, and fantastical patterns. No pattern is repeated, which makes walking through this village a real pleasure. The monastery, founded in 1330 on St. Vital's Day, is also one of the gems of Bavaria. The motto of the Benedictine order is pray and work, and we continue to enjoy the scenery and the local inhabitants of this beautiful region. A trip to Bavaria can't be complete without visiting famous landmarks such as Mount Zugspitze, the highest mountain in Germany. We climbed this mountain by cable car in just 10 minutes from Lake Eibsee, and at its summit, at 2,960 meters, we are on the border with Austria. At the very top you can see the cross marking the highest point in Germany. In good weather and clear skies, visibility from Zugspitze reaches 250 kilometers, and you can see up to 400 peaks located on the territory of 4 countries: Germany, Austria, Italy and Switzerland. This peak was first climbed in 1820, overcoming numerous threats and dangers to life. Nowadays, climbing the mountain has become more accessible thanks to the cable car. After that we will go to Munich, the colorful and cozy capital of Bavaria. Here we will visit St. Michael's Church and Marienplatz, the central square of the city. You will be amazed by the new neo-Gothic town hall, where the city council meets, as well as the old town hall with the Church of the Holy Spirit, the oldest religious building in Munich. We will then stroll through Bax and Joseph Square, home to the National Theatre and residence, and see the monument to King Ludwig I. Leopold Square welcomes us with the sculpture Walking Man. And further on we can visit the Bavarian National Museum and see the statue Angel of Peace in Maximilian Park. This diverse beauty of Munich beckons for a second visit. Thank you for your attention, and see you again. What's up, bro? My name is Sam. If you're planning to spend 5 days in Switzerland, this itinerary will help you plan the perfect trip. With detailed day-by-day itinerary recommendations, you'll be able to enjoy one of the most beautiful places on Earth, from snow-capped mountains and sparkling lakes to quaint villages and world-class cities. Switzerland is a country that has everything you're looking for, whether it's an exciting adventure or a relaxing vacation. If you have a week in Switzerland, that's enough time to see the main attractions. Plan 1 night in Zurich, 1 in Lucerne, 3 in Interlaken, 2 in Brunn and 2 in Zermatt. For more details on the Zurich, Lucerne, Interlaken, Luther, Brunn, Zermatt itinerary, see our separate videos on each of these locations. Day 1, Zurich. Zurich is a great city to start your Switzerland trip. You'll have plenty of time to explore the city and enjoy its beauty. Start with a visit to the impressive Rhine Falls, the most powerful waterfall in Europe. This is a major day trip for any tourist, easily accessible and not too expensive. It will take about half a day. After the falls, return to the city and take a stroll along Bahnhofstrasse, the famous shopping street. Walk along the Limmat River, enjoying the views of the old town and its romantic atmosphere. Walk through the old town towards the lake and you will see one of the largest squares in Switzerland, Sechselgumplatz, located between the Zurich Opera House and the lake. Here you can find several cozy cafes and restaurants, perfect for a coffee break. Continue your walk along the Limmat River, overlooking the iconic two-towered Grossmünster Cathedral. Finish the day by traveling to Lucerne by train. Trains run frequently, about every 30 minutes from 5 a.m. to 11:45 p.m., and the journey will take about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Day 2, Lucerne. Lucerne is like a city out of a fairy tale, with its charming cobblestone streets, gorgeous lake and snow-capped mountains lined with whimsical architecture. Start your day with a stroll through the old town, starting at the famous Chapel Bridge. This covered wooden bridge over the Rhine River and the nearby water tower are some of Switzerland's greatest landmarks, like those seen on postcards and souvenirs. Stroll along the Rhine River and through the old town of Lucerne. Cobblestone streets with beautiful buildings and colorful stores invite you to spend time exploring. Don't miss the Lion Monument, created in memory of the Swiss guardsman who died during the French Revolution. This magnificent structure is well worth a visit. Then walk down to the lake and stroll along the picturesque promenade surrounded by mountains. The lake looks just like a picture. Today it's time to change base and move from central Switzerland to the Bernese Oberland, arguably the most beautiful part of Switzerland. Interlaken is quite centrally located, with extensive railroad connections and a variety of offerings for tourists. While there isn't much to see in the city itself, it is ideal as a base for exploring Bern. You might also consider stopping in other towns such as Lauterbrunnen, which is gorgeous but has fewer rail connections and lodging options. Trains run regularly from Lucerne to Interlaken, and this short train journey takes 1 hour and 50 minutes. This journey is part of the Golden Route. Day 3, Grindelwald. One of the most famous and impressive rail journeys in Switzerland is the trip to Grindelwald. After arriving in Interlaken, walk or take the bus to your hotel to place your belongings. The town will surprise you with its beautiful views, traditional Swiss chalets lining the main street, a turquoise river flowing through it, and high snowy mountains surrounding it. After a rest, head to the train station to take the train to Grindelwald. The train takes about 45 minutes from Interlaken to Grindelwald. From Grindelwald train station, there is a cable car that will take you up in a gondola to the first station. There are 2 main attractions at the first station, the cliff walk and the reservation hike. The hike to the reservation encompasses all the most beautiful things in Switzerland: snow-capped mountains, green meadows and valleys, clear lakes and wildflowers, accompanied by the ringing of cow bells. This is one of the best places in the Jungfrau region and my favorite place in Switzerland. The cliff walk in the reservation is an easy continuation of your visit. It stretches 3 kilometers to the lake and back and takes about. Day 4, Lauterbrunnen and the Lauterbrunnen Valley. Lauterbrunnen is a gorgeous area of the Bernese Oberland, which is a typical Swiss village in an alpine valley with wooden chalets surrounded by high mountain peaks and grazing bell cows. If you picture perfect pictures of Switzerland with this kind of atmosphere, Lauterbrunnen is it. This is the perfect place to visit in Switzerland, especially if you want to see iconic places like Stolbock Falls, the highest free-falling waterfall in Europe, Trommelbock Falls, waterfalls inside the mountain, and impressive cable cars. Lauterbrunnen is also known as one of the most picturesque towns in Switzerland, offering incredible views of snow-capped peaks and green valleys. A train ticket to Lauterbrunnen, as well as to Maren, is often included in your Swiss journey. At the end of the day, we suggest you take the Cog Railroad to nearby Wangen. When visiting Wangen, you can explore the charming village on foot and enjoy breathtaking views of the famous Jungfrau Mountain. Day 5. Interlaken. Start the 5th day of your trip to Interlaken with a visit to the village of Eselvoll. This picturesque spot is located on the southern shore of Lake Brian and feels like it's ripped straight out of an idyllic picture. Upon arrival, you can stroll the paths around the village, kayak or paddleboard on Lake Brian, or rent a canoe, depending on your choice. Here you will be plunged into a magical atmosphere that seems almost fairy-tale-like. From Interlaken, you can easily reach Spitz in just 20 minutes by train or bus. It is definitely one of the most beautiful places in the country, and its location by Lake Thun makes it seem like a fairy tale. In Spitz, you can visit a medieval castle built around 1200 and an early Romanesque church. If you are in Interlaken, don't miss the opportunity to visit Spitz and climb to the top, where you can enjoy stunning views of the city and the surrounding forest. The itinerary for the 6th and 7th days of your trip takes you to Zermatt, where you will spend the last 2 days. Zermatt is the village below the famous Matterhorn mountain, the perfect postcard of Switzerland with charming wooden chalets decorated with flowers and views of snowy peaks dominating the landscape. The first day in Zermatt can be spent exploring the village and various viewpoints, especially during sunrise. Then head to Gornergrat and take the Gronergrat Trail. The Sun Trail leads from Gornergrat to Ryberg along the Gronergrat. The second day in Zermatt can be spent on a hike to the 5 lakes. The walk will allow you to enjoy the beauty of 5 beautiful lakes, mighty snowy mountains and majestic glaciers. Then finish your journey by staying one last night in Zermatt or heading back to Zurich or Geneva to catch your return flight. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to subscribe, like and share our videos. Norway is truly one of the most underrated travel destinations in the world, despite periods of 24-hour darkness. Norwegians are consistently regarded as some of the happiest people on Earth, with breathtaking fjords, stunning cliffs, and an abundance of natural waterfalls and lakes. We invite you to discover why Norwegians are some of the happiest people on Earth and why you should visit this stunning country. We began our journey to the breathtaking country of Norway in the small town of Bavariya, just above the Arctic Circle. We spent the morning exploring and walking around the town before heading out to see the largest and most powerful whirlpool Solströmmen in the world. This is a dangerous natural phenomenon that many fishermen believe to be the Vikings' own sea monster. As we continued our journey, we checked out the local eagle families, which proved to be an incredible experience. After witnessing the majestic and mighty eagles, we headed to Solströmmen. As we traveled through the water, we felt the incredible and slightly eerie power of the current. At times, our small boat seemed defenseless against this powerful whirlpool. After an amazing experience with the eagles, we set off on a 3-hour ferry cruise to the Lofoten Islands. Upon arrival, we rented a car and made the short 10-minute drive to the town of O, where we spent the night. The next morning, we set off to explore the picturesque Lofoten Islands, known for their stunning scenery and 24 hours of sunshine in the summer. The Lofoten Islands are truly an iconic travel destination. We started the morning exploring the fishing town of O and learning about the fishing industry, which has played an important role in the island's history. We then traveled just 20 minutes down the road to the town of Reina for the iconic Rennebregen hike. It was an incredible experience, the most beautiful view from the hike we have ever seen. After an exciting day, we had a delicious lunch at the town cafe and headed further north. Our first stop was in Skogsund, where we enjoyed the beauty of the Norwegian landscape. The beautiful white sand beach was a complete contrast to the mountainous terrain we saw. We had just had another incredible experience that made our adventure even more exciting. After visiting Skogsund, we continued our journey by driving another 30 minutes to the picturesque town of Newsford, located on the shores of Fjord Bay. This quaint town is known for its yellow fishing shacks. Tired but full of energy after a full day of adventure in the Lofoten Islands, we headed to our hotel. The next day, our first activity was a rolling hike on floe. This hike was probably the most challenging in the Lofoten Islands, but the view from the top is spectacular. We enjoyed a 360-degree view of the northern Lofoten Islands. After the hike, we went to the town of Henningsvær to see the soccer field, which we think is the most beautiful in the world. Unfortunately, this stunning town was our last stop in the Lofoten Islands. No matter where we went, we were amazed at the majesty of Mother Nature and her incredible beauty. We weren't sure if all the hype around the photos was worth it, but we can now affirm everything looks even better in person. Our whole experience made us wish we had spent more time exploring the Lofoten Islands. Our day started with a delicious Norwegian breakfast, some bread with jam and fantastic brown salmon cheese, followed by smoked salmon and cheese. After breakfast, we headed to the Norwegian sauna to relax after 2 hard days. It was an incredible and relaxing adventure worth experiencing when visiting Norway. After the sauna, we had lunch and headed out to explore the modern but laid-back city of Oslo. After a day of shopping, relaxing and walking, we took the overnight train to Stavanger. This was our first trip on a sleeper train and we were a little nervous, but at the same time excited like kids because it was a dream come true. After arriving in Stavanger, we spent the morning exploring the beautiful city center before renting a car and heading out for the infamous Cathedral Rock hike. On this hike, we came across the movie Mission Impossible, which became one of the most popular routes in Norway about 2.5 years ago. After moderate hiking for a few hours, we reached the top where the view from the top was breathtaking, but also a bit intimidating. As we walked along the cliff to the final lookout, we found ourselves a few feet away from what seemed like a 1,000-foot drop. However, when we got to the top of Pulpit Rock, We were amazed at the simply gorgeous view, although we were also overwhelmed by the crowds of people around us. Lines for photos stretched everywhere, and passers-by crowded the trail. We noticed that the place was really lively. After the hike, we went downstairs and enjoyed a delicious kebab at Kebabs. We then traveled to the town of Oda, traversing several stops to admire the nature around us. It was one of the most beautiful trips of our lives. After dinner, we went to bed early, nervous for the longest hike of our lives the next morning. When we woke up, it was pouring rain outside, and we weren't really looking forward to starting the hike in this weather. However, we decided that the views and experience were worth stepping out of our comfort zone. We made it to the foot of Trolltunga in the rain, and although the hike was difficult, it wasn't as bad as we expected. 4 hours later we reached the spectacular Trolltunga and the clouds parted, allowing us to enjoy the views. Despite our misgivings, the day at Trolltunga was amazing. After the hike, we traveled to the town of Vols where we spent the night. The next morning we took a trip to the beautiful rural town of Flum, famous for its railroad, considered one of the most beautiful in the world. It was a wonderful way to get to our final destination, Bergen. On this hike, we came across the movie Mission Impossible, which became one of the most popular routes in Norway about 2.5 years ago. After moderate hiking for a few hours, we reached the top where the view from the top was breathtaking, but also a bit intimidating. As we walked along the cliff to the final lookout, we found ourselves a few feet away from what seemed like a 1,000-foot drop. However, when we got to the top of Pulpit Rock, we were amazed at the simply gorgeous view, although we were also overwhelmed by the crowds of people around us. Lines for photos stretched everywhere, and passers-by crowded the trail. We noticed that the place was really lively. After the hike, we went downstairs and enjoyed a delicious kebab at Kebabs. We then traveled to the town of Oda, traversing several stops to admire the nature around us. It was one of the most beautiful trips of our lives. After dinner, we went to bed early, nervous for the longest hike of our lives the next morning. When we woke up, it was pouring rain outside, and we weren't really looking forward to starting the hike in this weather. However, we decided that the views and experience were worth stepping out of our comfort zone. We made it to the foot of Trolltunga in the rain, and although the hike was difficult, it wasn't as bad as we expected. 4 hours later we reached the spectacular Trolltunga and the clouds parted, allowing us to enjoy the views. Despite our misgivings, the day at Trolltunga was amazing. After the hike, we traveled to the town of Vols where we spent the night. The next morning we took a trip to the beautiful rural town of Flum, famous for its railroad, considered one of the most beautiful in the world. It was a wonderful way to get to our final destination, Bergen. We started our day in Bergen with another delicious breakfast at our hotel. One of the interesting facts we learned on our trip was that every year hotels compete with each other to offer the best breakfast. As a result, Norwegian breakfasts certainly stand tall and are some of the best in the world. The Norwegian waffles with jam and brown cheese were particularly impressive, a strange combination, but absolutely delicious. After breakfast, we set off to explore the picturesque town of Bergen and purchase Norwegian souvenirs. Unfortunately, the cable cars were closed for maintenance, so we headed to Foybonen to enjoy a beautiful sunset and panoramic views of Bergen. As we watched the sunset, we reminisced about our incredible vacation. Norway turned out to be absolutely stunning. The fjords, mountain ranges, cliffs, hiking and hospitable people made it one of our favorite places to travel. We are always grateful for the opportunity to visit such an amazing country and incorporate it into our lives. During our trip, we began to realize why Norwegians are considered some of the happiest people on earth. We highly recommend visiting Norway and experiencing all that it has to offer. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot more great travel content that we look forward to sharing with you. We hope you have a great day.